Hi, what's up? How's it going? It has been amazing. How are you doing since the portal? Well, I hope. It was portal, several planetary alignments, full moon in Aquarius, and various other amazing things happened this weekend. And so, general check-in, how are you doing? Wanted to look up this for us really fast. So, hold on. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so I looked up, you ever have like lint on you? And like you can feel it and kind of see it, and it's like that clear, thin type lint. Oh, that's frustrating. Anyway, I can see it, I can feel it, it's driving me nuts, but I can't seem to get it. Maybe it's on my glasses. My glasses are a mess though, not gonna lie. But at least you got to see a little tummy action. Oh, they're so much worse. Anyways, I lit incense, as I do, because that's the kind of alchemist I am. And lotus blossom was what we are burning today. And lotus blossom incense, whether in cone or stick form, is often associated with spiritual concepts like purity, enlightenment, rebirth, and spiritual awakening. May connect with spiritual qualities and enhance practices like meditation or mindfulness. So purity, enlightenment, rebirth, and transformation. Why does that make me feel so nervous? Because the African Gods Oracle is the one yelling at me, and they're usually like not, it's not that they're mean or anything, but they're heavy hitters. Like they don't mince the words, that's for sure. So we're doing African Gods Oracle. Energy, purity, enlightenment, rebirth, and spiritual awakening. So with this deck we have two different ones. We have the 4 moon phases of waning, waxing, full, and new. And so we will grab one of these after a shuffle, which, whatever that is, waning, okay. And then we will shuffle this deck and get right into that. Okay, so 2 cards have come out. So the number 2 might be significant for you. It's very much giving 2 cards that are looking exactly the same. So we've got these 2 right here. Had to do a quick pause. So first card is number 2, Okaran. The dangers of the world are always lurking. This is Okaran in his negative aspect. Regent Orisha is Eshu or Eshu. Keywords are dangerous choices, spiritual weakness, victim of spells and harassment, evil energies, and bad situations ahead. This is the most dangerous card of them all. And as the negative influence of Odu Okaran brings dire foreshadowings which must be both feared and respected. I'm going to read that again. This is the most dangerous card of them all, as the negative influence of Odu Okuron brings dire foreshadowings which must be both feared and respected. No matter how hard you try to avoid them, we are all subject to the dangers of the world, the weather of destiny, and especially the consequences of the choices and decisions we make every day. For this reason, the divine answer has always been given, and it is time to withdraw and resign. To insist on saying yes when the gods say no would be like awakening the force of a volcano and trying to control it with your hands. Lord of contrast, it is Eshu who commands the inevitable risks and catastrophes. Whenever he manifests himself in this aspect, Okuron shows his most terrible face and therefore demands caution, attention, care, and precaution. Eshu, the Orisha owner of all paths and crossroads, alerts to all kinds of problems and dangers at this time of life. In order to calm the threats that pursue you, get back on track and make your days soft and light, exactly as life should be, you must urgently honor and please Eshu. Those who rely on the Orisha's protection, especially Eshu's, are less likely to have to face the world's blows. Tricks and tragedies lie in wait. Still, despite the constant threats, the regency of Odu Okuron brings a great lesson. One cannot take a single step in life without taking risks. Learning the right time to act or hold back, to face and overcome life issues, or to retreat and heal yourself with faith and courage is the greatest mission for our evolution. Okuron's shadow meditation, knowing that life risks are inevitable. Am I consciously choosing which risks are worth taking in order to achieve my highest goal, or am I simply struggling every day with battles I could have avoided by taking responsibility for my decisions? The next card is Alafia, which is number 32. And that is another one that is a negative aspect in this deck. So you have two negative aspect Odus coming at you. Alafia, negative aspect. This one says a chaotic life is the result of chaotic choices. Regent Orishas are Orunmila and Eshu. So two Eshu cards have come up, and so maybe we should look him up real fast. I'm going to read this though. The negative influence of Odu Alafia brings constant affliction in face of the apparent chaos of the outside world, which is reflected inwardly, and, even in the simplest situations, brings difficulty in making choices and decisions. The universe is open in front of you, full of possibilities and alternatives, and precisely for this reason, deciding to follow a single path by giving up other options tortures your soul. The constant fear of hurting and losing people, opportunities, and yourself ends up causing stagnation, preventing you from leaving the dream world and acting to get your plans and goals off the page. I know. In today's world where it seems that everyone thinks solely and exclusively about themselves, it becomes difficult to balance your personal desires with those of people around you in an attempt to respect and value their ambitions and dreams. Even though a key aspect in building your self-esteem is realizing that, despite everything, your opinions and desires are also important and can always be valued and sought without prejudicing the people you love and care for. Still, it can be difficult to rationalize feelings when you seem to live in the eye of the hurricane. Whether at work, in friendships, or in love relationships, it's time to strengthen existing bonds and establish new bonds of trust and loyalty that will soothe your heart. People come and go in our lives. Nothing in the world is permanent or immutable. However, living in fear only causes anguish. Just be careful, for choosing to view the world from a positive place, you often also choose to ignore the malice of the world. This ends up hurting and frustrating you when you're forced to face situations where others' motivations aren't as sweet as you thought. With that in mind, what about trying to calm your mind and allow yourself to hear the voice of creativity that is unique to you? I'm sure you will be able to find ways to reconcile your desires with those of others and will still favor situations in which everyone wins. At the very least, seeking this way of valuing yourself and others is the most commendable way to avoid assuming sole responsibility for solving all the conflicts in the world. After all, no one said you're the redemptive hero of the universe, did they? Shadow meditation. When I look sincerely at my life, deceptions, and delusions, how many times could I have protected my heart and feelings by admitting to myself that life is a lonely road instead of an all-for-one and one-for-all fantasy? And what will it take from now on so I can stop trying to please everyone around me and put my own interests first? There are hand-drawn stars on both cards. 13 between the two, 10 on your first card, and 3 on your second. So the number 2, the number 3, the number 13 could be significant. We're gonna do, and then, your waning moon card also has hand-drawn stars, so 19 in total of stars. I don't know why that feels completely significant, but I feel like I need to let you know that that's what's happening. The waning moon's energy, it says it's time to banish all evil. It says this is the phase in which the moon decreases in brightness until disappearing and dying for a few days. It is a time of symbolic death and resurrection, making it the right time for the closure of everything that is no longer needed or desired, the banishment of negative energies, the release and ending of situations, and the reversal of unwanted situations. With that, it's time to reflect on what you want. After all, not everything we want is good for us. When a negative Odu card presents itself with the waning moon, it's time to retreat and admit that you can't have it all no matter how hard you try. Considered a negative phase of the moon, this card reinforces the negative aspect of the Odu and usually indicates that there's no escape from the Odu's unfortunate predictions. At the same time, because it's also considered a banishment moon phase, one can seek to cut off the Odu's negative influence with magic rituals. Okay. I mean, I don't want to be an asshole, but it does kind of sound like you need to be locking it in anyway. I really don't want to be an asshole about it, but I mean, it sounds to me like there are a lot of decisions that you were making sans divine collaboration, and you're seeing how far that gets you, I guess. And it's an awkward situation because, like, I get it. Like, you want to do it all yourself. You're a grown-up. You've managed life by yourself all this time. So, like, it's hard to be in a position where you're needing to do a lot of trusting. But, let's look at Eshu. He is a prominent deity in Yoruba religion and its related traditions, particularly known for his role as trickster and messenger. He is a powerful and complex figure embodying both chaos and order, and is associated with crossroads, travelers, and communication between the mortal and spiritual realm. He is renowned for his mischievous and unpredictable nature. He enjoys creating confusion and testing individuals' beliefs. He acts as a bridge between the human world and the realm of the Orishas, delivering messages and prayers. He controls the crossroads, symbolizing choices, opportunities, and the intersection of paths in life. Eshu embodies both masculine and feminine qualities, representing the balance between light and shadow, order and chaos. Guardian of all roads, neither good nor evil. Associated with red and black colors, the number 1, 2, and 21, and symbols like staffs, amulets, and cowrie shells are significant to Eshu. Yeah, which, you know, the cards here, 2, 32, I mentioned 10 at one point, 21 was the other number, but 1, 3, and 21 are his numbers, so 1, 3, 21 seem to be like, and the number 2. Ha! I found you! I knew there was something dangling on my nose driving me nuts. Okay. Sorry, I needed to get that. So, you're at a crossroads. And you could show up as the version of yourself that would make you feel better instantaneously. But it takes a toll on the here and the here pretty badly. So that's how that happens sometimes, and I get that. Like, I get it. It's hard. This one's a hard one because it's like it's hard for me to read these things. Oh, Egyptian Book of the Dead up next. And not feel kind of bad that they're just coming at you so hard, but like, yeah, you just kind of got spoke the hell out, I guess. I don't know. I think you're just doing too much, and you shouldn't be doing too much, and there's no need to do too much, and so, yeah, that's okay though. We'll figure it out. The truth is, like, you could do magical practices, you could, but I think that, like, whatever was done, whatever fuckery occurred during this situation, like, you're not, you know, it's time to banish all evil, and sometimes shadow work comes with very loud and intense involvement of other people. Like, what's done in the dark will come to the light one way or another, and sometimes what happens often is people will just shed light on themselves. So if this isn't you, then you just found out about some toxic shit from someone that you're close to that you didn't know was there. But if this is you, then you kind of told on yourself, and you've revealed to the world the kind of person that you are at your worst. And I get it, that happens, and that's part of the shadow work. Sometimes shadow work can be really fucking embarrassing, and it sucks that other people are in on it, and, you know, you hopefully have a support team, and if you don't, then this is probably a great opportunity for you to do a lot of work so you can build a support team, so that you're not just in, like, a room full of voices that sound just like you until it's time for them to, like, co-sign your bullshit, and then, okay, well, and that answers actually my other questions. Okay, yeah. So you got 2 gods here and another card. Makes sense. These cards make total sense, actually. We're gonna go with the first one. Number 44, Sa. God Sa. Key ideas: authority, guidance, and strength. Sa was considered to be the father of the gods of the Egyptians. He was represented in the night sky by the constellation of Orion and the dog star Sirius. So stars are for you. Heavy star energy now, because we've already seen hand-drawn stars that felt like they needed to point out. And we actually have 2 cards here having to do with stars, which I didn't show you all of them because there's 3, but yeah, that makes sense. In some hieroglyphics, he is depicted rowing across the night sky in a boat. When the Sa card is present in a reading, it speaks of an authority figure. This could be someone who has authority over you, such as a boss, or alternatively, it could also indicate that you are in a position of authority over others. If the latter is the case, this card reminds you to wield your power lightly and with compassion. The Saw card suggests that it is time for you to examine your attitude toward authority. Are you someone who can easily take direction, or do you struggle to obey commands? This card can quite literally represent some kind of father figure in your life and encourages you to examine this relationship more closely. Any discord is likely due to your view of authority figures and how you choose to interact with them. Of course, some people misuse their power, so if you feel that this is the case, the Saw card is asking you to speak out about it, especially if the Utterance card is present in the same spread. Sometimes it is necessary to blow the whistle on those who misuse their authority. Okay. I'm not gathering you're having a parental thing, actually. Or, like, maybe like a handful of you watching, it could be that, but I don't, for the majority of you, I'm actually not even really gathering. I actually think that you are the person in the position of authority, it sounds like to me. Your next card is Newt, who is a part of the Great Ennead or the Great Pout. Keywords and tons of stars, again, all over the art, literally around the art. And let's see. Don't mind my cat, he just yells whenever he's too bored to function, which is literally every 10 seconds. Newt, cosmic order, darkness, and dreams. Newt was the Egyptian goddess of the night sky, the stars, constellations, and planets. As such, she was considered one of the deities who helped to maintain the cosmic order. When darkness fell, Newt came into her power, arching over the earth god Geb. Newt was the mother of several primordial deities of the Egyptian pantheon, including Est, or Isis, Osir, or Osiris, Seth, or Set, and Nephthys, or Nebhet, is her real name. Newt is the heavenly dome, with her train of stars, and as such, she presides over astronomy, astrology, and stargazing. She was also the deity who protected the souls of the newly dead as they made their way into the Duat. This is the card of shooting stars and nighttime wishes. It suggests that you should cast your dreams to the heavens and see what happens. Ask Newt to guide your wishes into reality or to visit you in your dreams with a message. Get outside and look up at her midnight blue realm. She comes to teach you that darkness is not to be feared, but the place where all dreams begin. Sow your seeds in darkness. Live your dreams by day and call on the goddess to watch over you. With Newt's protection, you can waltz among the stars and become a cosmic dancer. Oddly, I read this wrong, so I'm gonna read the next card, the actual next card in the spread, which was number 29, and it was spelled. And I'm gonna read this and then probably skim through the last part of Newt again, because that is the spell work that Alafia was saying you could, or the waning moon is saying you could do to get rid of all of this. Cool. Spell, power, enchantment, responsibility. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the spells were the utterances spoken by the deceased to meet the challenges of the Duat and its 12 gates. There were 189 spells in all, which the dead would use to pass safely through the many trials of the Duat, and so prove themselves worthy of judgment by the gods. The Egyptians viewed death as a highly complex and multi-layered process. One didn't simply die and move on to the afterlife. Immortality had to be earned, and the utterances were part of that process. In a reading, the spell card comes up to remind you of your own personal power and also of the responsibility that goes with it. You hold a spark of magic within you. It is your inner divinity, and it comes from the gods. When this card is present in a spread, it is suggesting that you use your power and your magic for the greater good of yourself and others. You can never be powerless when you have a magic on your side, but casting spells of any kind takes a certain amount of courage and wisdom. Whatever it is that you want to change or manifest, this card indicates that you should use the power of spellcraft to achieve your goal. Magic is a force of nature. Use it wisely. And after that, Newt is why there's stars everywhere. You were preparing for that. So whoever I'm talking to, congratulations, new spiritual team member. Yay! I'm so happy for you. I've worked with Newt very briefly. It's a very, very beautiful experience to have a god in your spiritual team. I actually primarily work with gods, and that's how I started. I was pretty ambitious when I decided to, do crafting and alchemy and everything, Newt's great. And so, yes, so it suggests that you should cast your dreams to the heavens and see what happens. Ask Newt to guide your wishes into reality or to visit you in your dreams with a message. Get outside and look up at her midnight blue realm. She comes to teach you that darkness is not to be feared, but the place where all dreams begin. Sow your seeds in darkness, live your dreams by day, and call on this goddess to watch over you. With Newt's protection, you can waltz among the stars and become a cosmic dancer, and that's, like, true. And you can call on Newt and talk to her. She's really easy to talk to. So Eshu is the energy that you're needing to get to know, because that is your shadow self, and you need to get to know your shadow self. But you also are now going to be working with the ancient Egyptian goddess of the sky and the heavens. Her body arches over the earth, often covered in stars, representing the sky and its celestial bodies. Associated romance, love, harmony, the future of all souls, domain of the stars, and perfect souls. So you're just needing to do some shadow work. This round of shadow work was a little bit embarrassing for you. I get it. It's 2222 as I say that. Let's see what that means. I've used it before. I think it was the last reading. Balance, harmony, and spiritual alignment. Yeah, so you just need to get more aligned. That's all. And part of that is coming to terms with your aversion to authority and authority situations, both from, having authority figures above you, but also being a kind, compassionate, and patient leader yourself. And yeah, I get that, like, a lot of crazy things have happened probably in your life. Like, there's a lot of crazy things happening in the world right now, but, like, I know you can find a way to walk through this next phase of your life in an easier and more manageable way. And I think connecting with Newt is going to be a really, really beautiful experience for you. So yeah, spell work. Looks like you're gonna have to do some witch shit. So happy for you. I love it. So I strongly encourage this. An activity that I'm being led to do with you, not with you, but to encourage you to do is, yes, if the weather permits tonight, go outside and stare at the sky. For all y'all blind ass bitches like me, put your glasses on, because the stars are the point and you need to be able to see the soup that you're in. So tonight you're gonna go outside if weather permits, go look up at the stars and talk to that sky about the version of yourself that you want to be and how you want to execute that version of yourself. Welcome that energy before you go to sleep, and be open to communication in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different forms, and keep a journal nearby so that you can write down whatever it is that you're given as information, is what I'm being told. So I hope that wasn't too harsh. I feel like the Egyptian Book of the Dead came in and, like, softened the blow, which usually the Egyptian Book of the Dead is so much, like, such a heavy hitter, but African gods is harsher. But a goddess has spoken. Connect with your goddess. Newt is calling. Sa and Eshu are also calling, so they may also be on your spiritual team if you feel connected to either of these names. I will list the gods that we discussed down below. I'm feeling like you need to know who they are and look into them, check in on them, and see what they are trying to say to you. It's okay. We've all been there. Growing can be strange and embarrassing. I look at this phase of my life as, like, my second round of puberty. Like, I have the emotional setup of, like, a person with, like, emotional like pimples. Just really bad, like, emotional acne, in need of emotional Accutane, and I am doing the best I can because I don't have emotional insurance to get Accutane, so we're doing natural remedies, and it's working the best that it can. And I think you could take time to do that for yourself, is just remind yourself that, like, how you went through physical puberty and your body was just kind of like figuring itself out and settling in where it could, and did that in all forms of stages and throughout years of time. I think that, like, when you get to a place where you're starting to tap into your inner self, same thing happens. Growth looks awkward. It can be embarrassing sometimes. It can be harsh sometimes and painful sometimes. But it is a part of the growth process. It is what happens as you become. And becoming comes with perks. See, like, you go through an ego death, and whatever embarrassment you had, whatever you needed to be accountable and responsible for because you made yourself look like an ass, now you have a few gods that are, like, hanging out with you. Not everyone can say that they had an embarrassing moment followed by god friends, so good for you. Seeing silver linings is kind of like a thing I'm practicing, so good for you. I think that's amazing. I mean, take care of yourself. It did say something about that in there, so it's time to start being a lot more selfish, actually, I'm hearing. You can't murder yourself. You can't do it all. You can't murder yourself. So, as vocal as you are in your angst, find a way to be vocal in your calm so that you can get the help that you deserve. That's it. I'm gonna go eat snacks now. I love you guys. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna get through this, and it's gonna be fine. You be good beans, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.